brand new T-Mobile Revvl 8 right here, and you guys can actually get this at either Metro by T-Mobile or T-Mobile for approximately $199 currently. So that is the price tag if you want to pay for this device outright. If you do bring your number over to Metro by T-Mobile or T-Mobile, you can get this device for free. Or if you open a new line at either T-Mobile or Metro by T-Mobile, you will get this device for free. So of course, this is one of those starter devices, plain Jane device. Does essentially everything you need it to do, so it's not going to be a crazy fancy phone, sub $200 phone right here. But as far as it goes, the specifications actually do look pretty solid on here. It's not going to be the most premium in the world, but it definitely is going to get you by, and it's going to do a good job of that. So as far as the display goes, we have a 6.6-inch FHD Plus LCD display on this device. We have a Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 processor inside of here, so we have the new Snapdragon 6 Gen processor in here. The Revvl 7 only had the Gen 1, so we have the Gen 3 and the new one. That's the difference. We have 6 gigabytes of RAM, 128 gigabytes of internal storage, and we have the option to expand memory on this device as well. You guys have been asking for it, and T-Mobile came back with it. So we have up to 2 terabytes of expandable memory on this device if you guys choose to put a micro SD card inside of here. We also have 25-watt fast charging inside of here as well. That's wired. And we have a 5,000 milliamp battery inside of here utilizing Type-C. Of course, we have Android 15 inside of here as well. And we have fingerprint sensor on here that is actually very, very good. One of the best I've used. It's going to be a side-mounted one. And of course, we have the option to use the biometric facial system. We have NFC. Of course, have an icy silver device on this. I believe that's the only color that this device comes in. It's going to be an essentially stock Android type of look on here, as you guys will see in a moment. And we do have Gemini Live on here as well. So if you guys would like to use that as an assistant, that will be there for you. So let's go ahead and slide this out of the box. Of course, we have that magenta box right here. Let's go ahead and open this up. So inside of here, we have our quick start guide. We have our safety and regulatory information. We have our terms and conditions. And of course, we have our USB Type-C to USB Type-C data cable. No wall charger in the box though. And of course, we have our SIM ejector tool. All right, everyone. So we have the phone right here. This is the T-Mobile Revvl 8. And it does seem like they're going to be coming out with the Revvl 8 Pro because they did talk about that. So that will be coming out very soon. I think they just wanted to launch with this first. But I'm sure you guys can notice this looks very much like the Pixel 3 right now. So I really do like the refresh of this. It kind of has this bubbled back or this raised back right here with the flat camera panels on the back as well. I really do like the look of this and the feel as well. It feels very smooth. It's a matte finish. So that's going to be a nice little look right here. Of course, this is called Icy Silver. Absolutely love the color. As far as our camera setup right here, as you guys can see, our main camera is going to be a 50 megapixel camera with OIS. And we also, of course, have our macro lens that's going to be a 2 megapixel lens. And of course, we have our flash just to the right of that. The only branding we have on here, it seems, is that T-Mobile logo in the middle right there. But man, I really, really do like the look of this phone and the feel as well on back. Very, very smooth right there. Absolutely love it. Now going to the right side of this device, we have our power button that doubles as a fingerprint sensor. Just above that, we have our volume up and down rocker. At the top of the phone, we have our noise canceling mic. Left side of the phone, we have our SIM tray right here, and you guys can of course put a micro SD card in here, as I told you before. And we also have eSIM. So this is eSIM compatible, so you do not need to put a physical SIM in this phone. You can actually order this phone online and just activate it with eSIM, which is very, very easy to do. Bottom of this phone, we have a 3.5 millimeter headphone jack in 2025, folks. That's some crazy stuff right there. To the right of that, we have our noise canceling mic. To the right of that, we have our USB Type-C port. And to the right of that, we have a speaker at the bottom right here, a bottom firing speaker. And this is going to be one of the 2 speakers that we have on here. So yes, we have stereo speakers. Beautiful stuff to see. We're going to go ahead and boot up this phone, and I'll be back in a second to give you guys a little bit of a tour. All right, everyone, so here is the display on the Revvl 8 right here. Of course, the bezels are going to be big and bulky, so not a great look for this phone. However, the screen does look pretty decent as far as the colors and contrast goes. It is an LCD display, so it is going to have that dark spot right there if you try to tilt the phone. But overall, this doesn't look too bad, especially for that price tag. I was hoping for like an AMOLED display, but they're probably just trying to differentiate between this and the Pro phone. We're probably going to be getting it on the Pro version of this phone. But anyways, of course, we have the Snapdragon 6 Gen 3 inside of here, 6 gigabytes of RAM. So this is going to be a very, very snappy experience, especially for a $200 phone right here. These are processors that we usually don't see in these types of phones, especially priced at this price point. This is essentially a stock Android phone right here. Of course, we have Gemini right there if you want to use a Gemini assistant, Google search bar, Google Messenger. We have, of course, our dialer application on here as well. We do have some bloatware. That's one of the things I don't like about that, but you can go ahead and deactivate or delete it. So a bunch of different games like Monopoly, Spades, and TikTok. And if we go down into the drop menu right here, of course, we have our internet, we have our ringer, we have our Bluetooth, airplane mode, our device connections, Wi-Fi calling, our wallet options, because we do have NFC, so you can use Google Pay. We have auto rotate right here. We have our cast mode right here, quick share, QR code, and we have a native screen recorder inside of here as well. Just a heads up, we have Android 15 on this device as well, and it has been rumored that we will be receiving 5 years of security patches on this device, and I'm not sure if all 5 of those years are going to be giving us OS updates. I very much doubt they will be, but even if we get 2 or 3, I think that would be solid, especially for this device. It's not a super expensive phone, so it's not going to be like someone's going to hold on to this phone for 5, 6, 7 years. Usually people with this device upgrade every 2-3 years. So yeah, I'm hoping at least 3 years of OS updates. Let's get into that camera application right here and go ahead and take a photo. Let's go ahead and see how this looks. So decently quick shutter speed, and it looks good. Don't have any issues with this. Of course, we'll do the full review on the photos and videos, but this looks pretty clear. You know, you can't ask for too much at a $199 price tag. We have portrait mode inside of here as well. We have our video mode inside of here as well. As far as our video goes, we can shoot up to 2K at 30 frames per second or 1440 at 60 frames per second right there. And of course 1080p at 30 or 60 frames per second on here. And we'll go more into that later on. I do want to do a separate video for that because that takes so much time to do. In our more section, we do have our pro mode. We have our panorama, slow motion, hyperlapse, macro, the 50 megapixel lens right there. It uses the full 50 megapixel lens. And of course we have our Google lens right there if you guys would like to search for a specific object or item or person or honestly whatever. Last couple things I would like to do on this device, however, is go ahead and check out the speakers on this device and go ahead and check out the display on this. Of course, we have a front facing camera right here that is going to be a teardrop notch camera. So kind of sucks that we have a teardrop notch right there. I was hoping we're going to get a full screen on this, but again, they have to differentiate between this and the Pro version of the Revvl 8 Pro. But this is going to be a 13 megapixel front facing camera that we're going to be testing out later on. But man, those bezels are so thick on this phone. Other than that though, let's go ahead and take a look at the display on a 4K video. Alright everyone, so we have the 4K video right here up at 2160p. Let's go ahead and see how this looks. So colors look really good on this display. There's really nothing wrong or anything that annoys me other than when I turn the screen, but you're not going to be turning the screen very much, and you kind of do have to turn it a long way to get those dark spots. So overall, the display looks really good. The only gripe for me is that dark spot right here, which isn't really a problem if you're looking at this display head on. So just disregard that if you don't look at your phone from the side or play Temple Run or anything like that. And of course, like the bezels are a little bigger, but for a $200 display, this display looks really good. It looks really, really good. You got some good clarity, some good contrast, some good colors on here. Very, very nice display overall for that price. All right, everyone, now we're going to go ahead and test out these speakers on this device and see how those sound. Alright guys, so the speakers on this device, of course, for the price tag of $200 are decent. They do have some tin though. That's definitely something I can't ignore. These speakers have some tin in here. They aren't the loudest as well, but for $200 they sound decent. If this phone was like $400 or $500, these speakers would not sound that good for that price tag. But overall, we got 2 speakers on here. It just seems to be a little bit tinny. But definitely let that pass for the price tag of this device. All right, everyone, so that was the Revvl 8 from T-Mobile and Metro by T-Mobile. Of course, this device, again, is $200 if you guys would like to buy it out completely. And they do have trade-in options. And, of course, if you open a new line or port in a number, you can get this device for free. So all in all, with everything inside this device, especially if you're getting this device for free, I can absolutely recommend it. It is a very solid device. It has a solid processor with a Snapdragon 6 Gen 3. It has a decent screen, it has stereo speakers inside of it. It has a nice point and shoot camera on here that's not going to be too bad. Essentially a stock Android experience on here. A pretty solid battery life with a 5,000 milliamp battery inside of here. Android 15 with some promises of security patches later on. Overall, especially if you're getting this device for free, I feel like it's a pretty good move. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. This was the unboxing and first impressions of the T-Mobile Revvl 8. And this has been Safan from TechRight. Hopefully you guys have a beautiful day wherever you are. Peace out, Tech Gang.